It is that time, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about Abby and why I believe that Abby, in a lot of instances, can be debated as the true hero in the Last of Us series. Now, I know a lot of y'all are punching the air. A lot of y'all want to reach through the screen and strangle my scrawny little black neck. But listen, I have a case, okay? I have a case. And my very first case for this, let's call it what it is, guys. Joel was a terrorist. Joel was a terrorist as you can get, in the sense of in the limelight, in positivity, when it comes down to looking good. He was a good looking terrorist on the outside. When you're talking about character, Joel was the most dopest, hidden, coolest looking terrorist when it comes down to the way he was written. And when everything combusted inside of Joel, when he knew that he could not let Ellie be sacrificed for the greater good of humankind, Joel made the selfish decision to go and commit the most terrorist act in video game history. And that is shoot up the hospital and get Ellie into fugitive land when it comes down to dragging her into a new portion of her life that she will now get to experience because she was not sacrificed. And Abby's father, obviously the character that we know now as Abby's father, Abby witnesses her father dead and finds out that Joel was the reason for it. You know, obviously Abby wasn't blind in her rage. She was not blind in her mission. She knew that I have to be the one to bring Joel to justice. Not just because of my father, but for the sake of humankind. That's Abby. Abby, as brutal as they tried to make Abby look in the second game, Abby, it is a strong case there for Abby to be looked as the justified hero, the only sane hero in the second game, aside from avenging her father's death. Okay, so we've got two sides here. And we have to be realistic about this situation, because you know what, another thing I thought about, man, if Naughty Dog did this series would be, in the game universe, as the cherry on top when it comes down to the story. But because Abby was introduced in the second portion, the second installment of the story, it kind of falls flat a little bit. But if Abby's character was introduced right around the same time as Ellie, you are not going to sit on the other side of this screen and tell me with a straight face that we as the gaming community would not have looked at the events in part 2 differently. And if you do, you're lying to yourself. You have gameplay bias. You have a gamer's bias, because we all know we have this journey locked in stone when it comes down to Ellie and Joel. We know that there is a bias there that a lot of us cannot see through, can't see past. So when Abby is introduced the way the developers introduced her in the second game, now you're looking at, oh, who is this? I don't care that your father was killed by a terrorist who we all know was written beautifully, and, you know, ultimately, I don't care. And that's such a disappointment, because I really do sincerely believe that Naughty Dog was on the right track with the introduction to Abby. I just feel like if she was introduced in the slightest at the time of the first events of the game, I think maybe, I don't know if Abby came into the writing concept later on down the line, but if Abby would have came into the writing concept earlier, you are absolutely lying to yourself if you think you would have had as easier time debating that The Last of Us Part 2 is trash, you would have had a heart attack. You wouldn't have been able to take it. You would have had to choose between, okay, I have to separate in my mind which one of these characters I am going to have to be devoted to. Because let's be real, one is right and one is wrong. One is blatantly wrong. One is blatantly wrong. And we all know that is Joel and Ellie. That's just what it is, guys. That's just what it is. I know I'm the bad guy for bringing this to you, but we have to look at it realistically. We have to look at it realistically. The bias was there for us to tear Abby down from the start.